It is I, who stands before you eager to recount the tale of the mighty and valiant Lucius the Gladiator. As a gladiator of noble descent, fierce and unwavering in battle, I've endured the scorching rays of the sun, struck terror into the hearts of countless foes. I stand here now to determine whether this warrior is worthy of honor.
As a director of massive blockbusters myself, I know the crucial role of having the right actors and actresses up your sleeves. I'm gonna put out something that's really known by the public, that Ridley Scott is a genius. Ridley Scott has masterfully combined the iconic stars with fresh talents in the sequel Gladiator 2. We got Denzel Washington. Never heard of him. I don't know this man. Joe from The Last of Us. Pedro Pascal is one of those dudes that kind of play with his public image. He reminds me of one of those like pocket knives that turns out to be a comb. And there was someone in this cast that made me think, like, am I watching Vampire Diaries? Because this lady looks exactly the same. She's like 59.
What the fuck?
Most actors and actresses get the Macaulay Culkin disease. They start up looking like this and end up looking like this. And hold on, let's just talk about the budgets. They had $103 million for Gladiator 1, and it didn't stop. So with Gladiator 2, it almost reached $320 million. That kind of sums up what most production companies think. More money equals better movie. And it's always been about the money, right? And let's just go over one thing. I feel like a lot of people, when they see me, they think, oh, this dude's, man, there's gotta be something wrong with this dude, right? There's no way this dude's just perfect. There's no way. And I'm here to tell you, yes, I'm a human being. I bleed. And just to make me more relatable, whenever I watch a movie, I feel like there's always an idea of how the movie would look like in my head. And I feel like a lot of people share the same feeling. And I think Gladiator 2 would have been way better if the fights were rap battles.
Wish I could drain the Coliseum and Rome so I could destroy this motherfucker. Listen. Yo, listen, I'ma start dissing you, and I might sound a little rude. Matter of fact, you're not a dude. You're a chick with boobs who sends nudes. Me and you have nothing in common. If we were comedians, you'll always be bombing. I'm dripped out in gold. I'ma say it wrong like McCreenus. Your fighting career is shorter than your penis. Gladiator, the unshakable warrior, who are you? I forgot, no one's ever heard of ya. Stay longer with me and trust me, I'ma fucking murder ya. Quick, come up with a way to run like your back is hurting ya. Me and winning is destined like it's symbiotic, it's symbiosis, we're connected. And I know I won this battle cause it's a movie and I direct it.
It seems like the people are fiending for something new. And I can't lie and say that there aren't some that are still clinging to the past. Nostalgia is the steering wheel of their taste in movies. And I can't blame them. Ridley Scott felt like he needed to further explore a finished story. How did he do it? Simple. It's just pump more money into the project, as if that's gonna make me watch the project. Damn. Okay, I'll give it a watch. 2 hours and 30 minutes might have been too much for a Gladiator sequel. And not forgetting that the main objective of the story and structure is quite similar to the first one. And I get the whole point, it's a sequel, but I didn't feel like that we needed a second one. That's the point. Denzel, as usual, with his charisma, kept me a little distracted from this whole deja vu experience. What I'm really trying to say is that at a certain point of watching this whole thing, I thought it was a reboot, but it turned out to be sort of a follow-up to what went down after Maximum's death. Ridley Scott really took a chance on this new guy, huh? A lot of my friends, non-existent friends, recommended Aftersun to me just to familiarize myself with his work, and hopefully I'm gonna find the time and watch it. The son of Maximum walked his father's path only driven by rage. He transformed hatred to unity and peace, and the cost of losing his loved ones. What I noticed about the story is that it is clean, but nothing really stood out. Probably the battleship in the Coliseum might have been something new, but it's just like, what is this, Sea of Thieves, bitch? Like, I don't know. And hold on for a sec. Hey, yo, I didn't know they had those type of concubines. No judging, but I'm just saying, having a male concubine is a double-edged sword. It's all pleasure on one side, but a whole lot of trouble on the other. It became clear to me that Gladiator 2 has shots that are much more vibrant than the first one. Well, obviously, the bigger the budget, the better. Yeah, you're right. I think cinematography today is taken as a way to be aesthetically pleasing and not actually add any value to the story. The way cameras were used back then, they were like a gateway into a director's mind. That's why we associated some movies with some directors. Now they kind of look the same, right? I'm not talking about Ridley Scott, but I'm just talking generally about cinematography. I'm not talking about Gladiator 2. Yo, hold on. People had clean cuts like that? What the fuck? Let me see another motherfucker walking with a clean fade, bitch. Putting the performances of both movies side to side, I personally think the second one edged out the first one by a whisker. I mean, there's a lot of old movies with VFX shots that still holds up to this day, but Gladiator 1 ain't one of them. And here's the thing. I'm not fully reverse cowgirl riding Gladiator 2. I'm just saying, in the grand scheme of things, I think Gladiator 2 is an abomination. Gladiator 2 felt like an episode of How to Train Your Dragon. Just like completely useless and a waste of time and effort. Gladiator was a story that was in no need of continuation. There's no way of telling whether Ridley Scott chose to make this story or the executive producers are responsible for making this project. And you know the reason why I mentioned this is because the same thing happened with A Quiet Place. The studio forced John Krasinski's hands into putting out part 2 and that fucking shitty prequel. The more you milk it, the sooner you'll get to the bottom of the bucket. It just makes sense. And we can see it happening with the Fast and Furious franchise. But in their case, the bucket had been empty for a minute. The action sequences weren't anything different. And that doesn't mean that they're bad. It's just I expected something more creative. I've been kissing Denzel's ass this whole video. It's time for me to cook him. Not only this guy sucked this whole movie's budget, he didn't give a flying fuck how to properly say his lines. Every cast member was speaking in this archaic English, and Denzel is there just yapping with his American accent. Now, here's the thing. I hate to pocket watch, but my man got 20 yen for that performance, and it was sure hell worth every penny, huh? He had fun going in the project and out with a heavy bag. Good for you, Mr. Washington. All in all, I feel like this movie added nothing. They could have used that budget to make it something new. The majority of the concepts presented were derivative. However, pacing was smooth. There wasn't any pressure or boredom felt watching the movie. To end it on a high note, see what I did there? At least they didn't give us Alexander 2. That's it. That movie fucking sucked.